This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Everybody, welcome to another Rob Ranks. This one's kind of interesting because this has to do with contrast paints. Now, we're going to rank some of the games that I painted with contrast paints, and I found a lot of success with. There's been some I haven't found success with. So, before we get the countdown going, we're going to talk about some of those ones where I kind of struggled with and had to go to other paints, and the reasons for it. This top 10 is no GW games because basically contrast paints, there's a blueprint for how to paint GW games with GW paints. But these are the ones that are not from GW that I found that I had so much success and cut so much time in. And I actually ranked them. Now, a couple that I really had some problems with is Madaria, because there's so many different types of colors, believe it or not, that I found it's just better to use paint. So I ended up finishing that series up finally, and that was a lot of fun. But you know, the contrast paints I would try, and it just wouldn't go with what I was looking for in my mind. Now that you might be looking for something else. Batman was another one because the gang members were all a certain color, and when you would try to apply it, it just didn't work. So I just hand painted those and breezed through them. But you know, the contrast paints do take a lot of time out. So at number 10 was Skull Tales. Skull Tales is a pirate-themed game. Now, you could try a whole bunch of different pirate games, and I'm sure it would work just as well as this. But these are the ones that I found, and I ranked in my success that I found how much time I had cut off. Anytime you're doing skeletons, just consider it's going to cut the time out, because the skeletal horde is fantastic and it works, and then just highlighting is very quick, and I was able to blow right through that. At number 9, another pirate game. I included this because there were a couple of really unique figures in there, and the contrast paints really did some great job with it, and that's Barnacle Bay. A very, very good game. At number 8 was Arcadia Quest, believe it or not. Now, all the chibis, you would think you would have a problem. The chibis I painted, I found that using the contrast on all the villains really, really worked very, very well. Especially the orcs and the little orc archers or goblin archers. I was able to mow through those incredibly fast, do their hair, do their eyes, bing, bang, boom, put a wash over them, and boom, I was done. It was really successful getting those villains done so I can concentrate on the heroes, which went by pretty fast. At number 7, this one's a no-brainer, Dungeon Saga. Dungeon Saga, a ton of skeletons, some necromancers, even some of the expansions when I did some of the demons, and I just found success because that blood red really gives you a good base, and then all it is just a couple touch-ups, bing, bang, boom, you got the desired result. I found that to be extremely successful. At number 6, hey, ships are hard unless you got contrast paints. And British versus Pirates, which is a fun, a really enjoyable game that I enjoyed. I was able to finish my fleets really quick because the woodworking is such a pain in the neck. But now with these contrast paints, when you can just get that kind of texture that you want, you can roll right through it, and then it's your metallics, and then boom, you are done. And your sails, and I just couldn't believe how quick I was able to get those ships done. Number 5 is an old favorite, and you're going to be seeing some tape in a couple of weeks on this. It's Space Cadets. It's something I've been itching to paint, and I just find that when you have a bunch of certain type of figures, that once you decide on how you want to go about it and how you want to attack it, these contrast paints cut a lot of time out, and it's just it's fantastic. I can't say it enough. At number 4, I didn't expect this to go as well as it did, but it went really well. Number 1 for the Rangers, most of all, and that's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. I was able to do to really get some detail and be very concise with it. The yellows, the reds, the greens, they really popped on the Rangers, and you're going to be seeing all this. So I know that's one thing. Oh, I want to see it. Well, we're going to be doing. There's going to, over the next month, you're going to see all these videos on how I went about painting these particular figures and how quickly it was, and to save you time. We're really trying to pick out things and show you the shortcuts on how to paint other games besides GW in these contrast paints, and Power Rangers is going to be right up there. Number 3 is I had to get this done. I was under a time constraint, and I found that using the Plague Bearer, what is it called? The Plague Bearer Flesh really helped me with zombies, and that's from Black Plague. I was able to do 70 zombies in a day. And the reason it took that long is, number 1, drying times, priming times, but I was able to drill these out, and it was just fantastic, because what I did is I took that plague and I went over them all, and then I would build their clothing in, and before you know it, they started to pop. And then a nice dark wash with a Athonian camo shade, which you can see the whole process because we've already done this video. And you can find it on Board Game Geek and of course my channel, Rob's Tabletop World, and see how quickly I was able to come and get that done, and it really made a big difference. Here's one that I don't think that you would expect, okay, and that's Memoir 44. It's a game I always wanted to paint, and I took the base set and I said, oh, this might be interesting with these 2 particular colors. And sure enough, I was able to get the result that I want. I got the kind of detail I want. And then when I went over it with a darker wash and dry brush, I just got a fantastic result. You're going to see it once I get I'm going to show you how to do the bases, and I'll show you how to do the Americans and the Germans. You're going to find that this is a quick and easy way to get what is a historic, wonderful game and have your figures painted. They don't need it, but it was kind of neat to do and try it out on, and it turned out really good, which I was really surprised at. So Memoir 44 at number 2. Number 1, the reason this is number 1 is how I was able to do this so quickly. And that's kind of the reason I did this countdown. And that's Zombicide Invader. Those are contrast, and those were done in one day. I did all of them all in one day. The Invader, and then I started working on the expansion. Well, it's not even an expansion to it. It is another whole, I think it's Dark Star, but the reds in those creatures, those underground creatures, just getting that color, and then taking again the Blood Angel red contrast, which is very powerful. And when you get it in there and then you put a black wash over it, boom, you were done. And they were such a breeze to get done. I was blown away by it. And then Invader, the regular game, just using the Space Wolf Gray contrast paint, going over it. You're going to see it on Board Game Geek, but the whole point is how quickly I was able to get this done and get this game to the table so we can play it, as you will see over the next week or so, depending when this video comes out. So Zombicide Invader was very helpful with the contrast, and if you're thinking of painting it, I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to do it, and it goes by quickly. You could just put the contrast paints on and walk away and have a wonderful, they really come, a matter of fact, I have a couple here that I just have to finish, a matter of fact, and this is just with the gray, okay, with the Space Wolf Gray. If you're not picky, that may be just all you want to do. That's how quickly, just dip it in the brush, bang, bang, boom, and you're off and running. Even the heroes were easy. Really, really easy, quick game to paint. Zombicide Invaders, really think about it. It's outside the box for the contrast paints. These contrast paints, I am experimenting with all types of different games and trying to utilize it, not just on GW games, but all types of different games, so you guys have a blueprint to paint your stuff, and that's the end game, is painting your stuff. Do you disagree with my list? Maybe there's something that you painted with contrast paints that you want to put in the bottom and say, wow, this was so much easier when I did this with this contrast paint. We always welcome that kind of stuff and really look forward to it. Until next time, and our next countdown, it is your old pal Rob. We will see you soon.